the vaccine and they see numbers like this?
They should be very, very excited about this because, and I heard a previous correspondent of yours saying that the doctors would now be giving the vaccine to the children. I've been saying that since the beginning, that physicians, really, physicians' offices should have the vaccine and be able to give it to their patients. I think everyone has a trusted pediatrician for their children, and to have the child get the shot from somebody who you have great faith in gives a certain layer, a patina of security, if you will. The studies, involved kids from southern states. There were the vaccine was 93% effective. There were 464 children studied from various hospitals in the southern states, and many of them, I guess, the vast majority had comorbidities like asthma, diabetes, etc. So it wasn't really. It was kind of a biased group of children, but nevertheless, 93% protected.
Yeah, and Dr. Bob, I do want to ask you about that other piece of news that we just mentioned earlier. We have this new report from the Wall Street Journal that says all New York City public workers will now be required to be vaccinated. This means it's eliminating that testing as an option instead of vaccination. What do you make of this mandate? Is it going to help limit the spread of COVID in the city, especially among, for example, police officers who we know have the lower rate of vaccination?
Yes, it's going to be very, very important. I know that the biggest cause of death in police officers lately has been COVID-19. And by October 29th, some 46,000 workers within the city of New York have to be vaccinated. 71% of them are already vaccinated, and 96% of school workers are vaccinated. So this is really, really important in causing or producing what we call herd immunity. Everybody is going to be protected once we are all vaccinated. And I think that's the most important message we can give.
All right, Dr. Bob Lahita, thank you so much for shedding light on the numbers and the news this morning. We're going to begin with those supply chain issues. We've been bringing you plenty of reporting on these issues, and they're leaving shelves bare. Basic goods are tough to get. Well, one of the reasons for these shortages is a lack of truck drivers. It's been a problem since before the pandemic, but the situation's grown dire recently as a generation of truck drivers hang up their keys and e-commerce drives demand to new heights. NBC News Now correspondent Xinwen Asamoah visited a trucking school in Savannah, Georgia, where a new, more diverse generation of drivers are taking the wheel. Good morning, Xinwen. Happy to have you with us today. So help us understand just how bad this shortage has become and what's really behind it.
Thanks, Savannah. Yeah, the supply of drivers really is stalling. At the end of 2019, estimates said that around 60,000 truckers were missing from the industry. Now, experts are saying that could near as high as 100,000. And it's for the reasons you're saying. E-commerce has been booming. We spoke with president of Roadmaster Trucking Schools, who told us exactly why.
A lot of 50-something-year-old drivers were retiring early because they didn't want to be on the road risking their life. So as a result, and then on top of that, stimulus checks hit. E-commerce started booming, so now you needed a lot more drivers than you ever did before, and we had less than we ever had before.
And the need is particularly high around the nation's ports. We're currently by the nation's third largest port at Howard Shepherd Container Depot. About 150 trucks are going to come and go here. We're here early in the morning, but you can already see the trucks moving. And there are around 400 containers. And so truckers go to the ports, they bring items to these containers, and then more trucks come and come from the containers to your front door. So clearly demand is very high at this point.
Yeah, everything that we get comes to us one way or another by truck and that final mile. Xinwen, the demographics are changing. We referenced it a little bit earlier. Older white men typically made up that population, but what are you seeing as you're visiting the trucker schools now?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. We're seeing a lot of diversity, not just in terms of racial ethnicity, but also gender. I spoke with one man, Bernard. He's 40 years old and a parent, and he said, I'm here to support my family, right? But we're also seeing this industry is unique in pay equity. Truckers are paid by the mile, so the gender disparity with pay is a lot different, and the hours and flexibility are much better. In this case of Roadmaster Trucking School, the course is just 4 weeks long, and after that, students can take a test and get their commercial driver's license, so the bridge for entry is also a lot lower.
So tell us more about what these students are telling you about why they're getting into this business. What's making them decide that they want to go into trucking?
Yeah, I think that was the best part of our conversations with students. We heard from one